In 2018, 19-year-old Caleb Deal left his home in Fort Worth, Texas, saying he'd be back later that evening. He didn't take clothes, money, or even his phone charger. Nothing that suggested a plan to leave. Then he vanished. The last confirmed sighting of Caleb was at a convenience store security camera just before sunset. He looked calm, normal, almost distracted. That's the last time anyone ever saw him. When police began investigating, they discovered something strange. Caleb had been working odd jobs for a local businessman named Ricky Dale Howard, a man his family trusted. Howard claimed Caleb never came to see him that day, but investigators learned that Howard was hiding something. He was being secretly investigated by federal agents for financial crimes, and Caleb had access to his properties, tools, equipment, even his computers. And then things got darker. Federal agents later arrested Howard on unrelated charges. Child exploitation material found on his devices. When they searched his properties for Caleb, they found burn pits, destroyed hard drives, and areas of land that looked like they had been recently disturbed. Howard maintains he never saw Caleb that day, and to this day refuses to answer any questions about his disappearance. The most chilling detail: Caleb's car was found exactly where he left it. Keys inside, untouched, as if he stepped out for just a moment and never made it back. Just a young man who walked out of a store and was erased from the world. And investigators still don't know whether Caleb uncovered something or someone he was never meant to see. In June 2021, 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist working in the Phoenix area, drove his 2017 Jeep Renegade west toward desert terrain near Buckeye, Arizona. That was the last time anyone heard from him. Weeks later, ranch workers discovered his Jeep, overturned down a ravine, airbags deployed, seatbelt still buckled. Daniel's personal items were inside: wallet, phone, keys. But he was gone. Investigators found no body, no footprints leading away, and no clear cause for the crash. An accident reconstructionist revealed something chilling. After the airbags deployed, the ignition was turned over dozens of times. There were tire tracks inconsistent with the ravine path. Some believe the scene was staged. Why had Daniel gone into that remote desert? What happened to him after the crash? To this day, his family and the authorities searched across more than 70 square miles of desert terrain, but Daniel Robinson is still missing. And the only concrete evidence we have: a crashed Jeep, a remote ravine, and a young man who vanished into the sands without a trace. In July of 2014, 28-year-old German tourist Lars Mittank arrived at the Varna airport in Bulgaria. He was supposed to fly home, but something was terribly wrong. Security cameras show Lars pacing the airport lobby, alone, disoriented, looking over his shoulder. He tells his mother on the phone that people are after him and that he isn't safe. No one around him seems to notice anything strange. Then the footage shifts. Lars suddenly backs away from a doctor's office, panicked. He clutches his head, then sprints full speed down the hallway. He runs out of the airport, past security, past taxis, straight toward a field beyond the parking lot. Cameras capture him climbing over a tall fence and disappearing into the trees. That is the last confirmed image of him. His luggage, wallet, passport, and phone, all left behind. Search teams combed the surrounding fields for weeks. To this day, no one knows what scared Lars so badly that he ran for his life, or what happened to him the moment he vanished beyond the airport fence. He simply ran out of frame and never came back. On April 1st, 2006, 27-year-old medical student Brian Schaefer went out drinking with friends at a bar in Columbus, Ohio, called the Ugly Tuna Saloona. Security cameras recorded him arriving, smiling, talking, and walking inside. But what the cameras captured and didn't capture is one of the strangest pieces of real disappearance footage ever recorded. Inside the bar, Brian was seen on camera talking to two women. He steps just out of frame, and that is the last confirmed image of him alive. Minutes later, his friends leave the bar through the main escalator entrance, the only public way in or out. Cameras show every person coming and going that night, but Brian never comes out. Police reviewed the footage for hours, frame by frame, every entrance, every exit. He wasn't seen leaving through the back. He wasn't caught on street cameras. He wasn't found in stairwells, storage rooms, bathrooms, or construction areas. It's as if he stepped out of the camera's view and vanished from reality. To this day, there's no evidence of where he went. No body, no belongings, no confirmed sightings. Just a few seconds of eerie bar surveillance, showing a man walk into a crowded bar and disappear as if the world simply erased him. In March of 2014, 8-year-old Relisha Rudd vanished from a homeless shelter in Washington, D.C. Her disappearance might have gone unnoticed even longer, if not for the chilling security footage released days later. The video shows Relisha walking down a quiet hotel hallway. She's carrying a plastic shopping bag and walking beside a 51-year-old janitor named Khalil Tatum, a man she should never have been alone with. In the footage, she looks small, tired, and silent. Tatum walks ahead, never speaking to her, never turning back. He leads her into a hotel room. The door closes behind them. That is the last confirmed image of Relisha Rudd alive. When police searched the hotel room, it was empty, perfectly clean, bed stripped, no fingerprints, no belongings. Tatum checked out shortly after the footage was recorded and vanished too. Days later, police found Tatum's car abandoned. Soon after that, they found Tatum himself, dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound inside a park. But Relisha wasn't there, and no sign she had ever been there either. To this day, the hallway video remains the only solid piece of evidence in her disappearance. A few silent seconds of an 8-year-old girl walking into a room and never walking back out. On a warm June morning in 2001, 19-year-old Jason Jolkowski left his home in Omaha, Nebraska, for what should have been an 8-minute walk. A co-worker was picking him up at his old high school. A simple, ordinary plan. Jason told his mom he'd be right back and walked out the front door for the last time. The beginning of his walk was completely normal. Neighbors saw him. Home security cameras picked up his movement as he headed down the street. Quiet, calm, hands in his pockets. He walked past familiar houses, down a route he had walked hundreds of times before. And then, somewhere in those 8 minutes, Jason vanished. Investigators pieced together the footage and witness statements. Jason made it past a few cameras near his home. Then, he turned onto the main street. And that's where the trail ends. It was broad daylight, a quiet neighborhood, a clear route with cameras and houses on both sides. Yet somewhere in that short stretch of sidewalk, he simply stopped existing. Police searched backyards, garages, alleyways, construction sites, abandoned homes. Nothing. Dogs couldn't pick up a scent. His wallet was never used. His phone was never turned on again. There was no evidence that he ever left that neighborhood at all. To this day, no one knows what happened in those missing minutes. Jason walked out of frame and into a mystery that has lasted more than 20 years. On June 3rd, 2011, 20-year-old college student Lauren Spira walked out of a Bloomington apartment building shortly before 3 a.m. She had been out with friends. Her phone was dead. Her shoes were gone, and the night was only going to get stranger. Security footage from several different cameras shows Lauren moving through a quiet stretch of downtown, stumbling, unsteady, but still walking with purpose. Shadows from streetlights follow her across the frame. She looks small, vulnerable, and completely alone. At 2:51 a.m., a camera captures her turning a corner onto a residential street. In the grainy footage, she stops for a moment, looks around, and then continues walking north. That clip is the last time Lauren Spira was ever seen. Minutes later, a friend inside an apartment building reported hearing knocks on his door. Soft knocks. But by the time he opened it, no one was there. Lauren never returned to her dorm. Police searched every alleyway, creek bed, construction site, and drainage tunnel in the city. Dogs tracked her scent only partway down the street. Then it suddenly vanished. The cameras showed her leaving. None ever showed her coming back. And in the darkness between those cameras, Lauren Spira stepped out of frame and into a mystery that has haunted her family and investigators for more than a decade.